Okay, boys, in this video, what we're going to be talking about is how to get more kills in Arena. But specifically, this is going to be the solo edition of this video. I do plan on making a duos and a trios version, so definitely stick around throughout this whole video because you're going to find so much useful information. And how you're going to find that information is because I'm going to break this video down into 3 parts. We're going to be talking about how to get kills off spawn, the safest places to land, and just overall taking an overview kind of aspect, like a bird's eye view looking down at what I think you should be doing. Then part 2 is going to be the whole mid game, talking about zones, a little bit about rotations and how to not get third partied, but still pick up a quick and insane amount of kills if you want to and if you have the skill to do so. Then for part 3, we're going to be coming back and looking at endgame. Endgame is where a lot of people make it to, but don't end up doing well in endgame because it's the hardest, stage of the game to practice because you make it there less. It's easy to practice off spawn because everybody's going to make it to spawn. You just jump out of the bus and there you go, you've already made it off spawn. I mean, you're in that aspect of the game, but towards, as the game goes on, people die off. You don't make it to endgame. You can't practice endgame as much. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that in this video. Let's hop straight into part 1 where I talk about landing locations. Okay, boys, so part 1 of this video is going to be talking about off spawn and recommendations for drop spots. So right now on screen, you're seeing a picture of the Fortnite Season 7 map. And with that said, there's orange circles around different points of interest that I've made. There are places I suggest you to land. If you haven't watched any of my drop spot videos, I'm going to tag one up in the top right because that might help you out. I'll also link it at the end of the video because that will definitely help you out. But just in case you don't have the time to be looking at that, the map is there for you to just pick a few POIs of your choice and roll with them. These POIs have about 1 to 5 opponents landing with you on average. Sometimes you'll get 8, maybe 9. Very, very unlikely though. It just depends on the drop. So I've just made a few recommendations on where I think you should land because you don't want to land somewhere where you're going to get no kills. Especially if you're a decent player, which I believe everyone is nowadays. So you can get a few kills off spawn and you should be pushing for that. But you don't want to land at a POI where there's, maybe 9 or 10 people consistently and then that one game where there's 20 people. Because trust me, more than likely, that one game where there's 20 people is the game that you don't want 20 people to be there. So, hopefully that makes a bit of sense. They're POIs that I recommend landing at, and I've done research into them. They're not just picked off the top of the dome. Like I said, I do a lot of rotation stuff on the channel. Now, that's what I recommend landing at. The weaponry I recommend having, I'm going to put probably 3 different lists on screen right now. Okay, if you're a psychopath W key player, the guns that I recommend for you are on the left side right now. They're a lot more consistent for hopping into boxes and just almost psychoing away your game. In the middle is kind of for the player who, wants that extra bit of shields because, you get hit a lot. But you're still on that aggressive side. Then on the far right, that is a loadout I recommend for someone who is very good at range and wants to take advantage that if you snipe someone in the head or even a body if they're low on HP in a solo game, they are gone. You don't need to even get close to them. That's the loadout on the right for you right now. So let me keep going with this video and let's hop over to mid game. So let's go. Okay, boys. So real quickly, I want to run through some rotations when it comes to mid game. Okay, a lot of people know me over here on the channel for rotations and different guides. This is just going to be a quick, I guess, bit of sprinkle of cheese as to what I do on the channel. But you can see on screen, these screenshots were taken from FNCS last season. That's why they're super stacked. But you can see from this one that we're focusing on right now, the way there's a free pocket of space behind everybody, that's the way you need to be rotating. You need to be playing for those pockets of space because within them pockets of space, especially on the edge, you can, pull off a nice close range fight. You can take high ground. That's what you need to be focusing on is high ground. So there's so many different ways of playing it to the advantages of you. That's why I recommended the different loadouts just beforehand. If you want to take a high ground position, they're great to have and therefore you can play to your playstyle. If you want to get close to, I guess box fight some people, you can do that. There's loads of different ways of playing it. That's why I'm showing you this kind of rotation guide where you can kind of loop around everybody and get to where you want to go. But then, in Zone 3, when, people start to calm down and chill out on boxes, that is where the player with the sniper rifle has a huge advantage. Because the way he's carrying a sniper rifle and hopefully a SCAR or a blue AR, he has the advantage of just beaming someone and then griefing people at the same time. You can snipe people from range, but you can use your AR to spray intensely, and that gives you an advantage over anyone using a pulse rifle, anyone using a burst or an AK. The SCAR is the only long range weapon that can spray to the best of its ability. You get me? No other gun in the game has that right now, other than SMGs and stuff, but you're not going to use them at range. So by carrying a sniper and a SCAR, you dominate at long range compared to other players who maybe won't carry a sniper. A lot of people are going to be carrying snipers, so please just be careful in this season with so many people peeking out of their box, especially in these lower level tournaments. People just want their heads taken off, and I don't want you to be one of them people. Now, endgame is probably the most important part of this video, and that's what we're going to hop onto right now. But first, I just want to ask you that if you haven't subscribed yet, man, I recommend you do so. We're dropping double daily uploads over here. We're streaming all the tournaments. I plan on bringing the creative streams back as soon as I get some alerts and stuff fixed. And creative streams are where we hop in together with the community and we play creative streams, like play creative games with 30 players and shit. It's actually fun, and we just practice together. I want to bring them back. I need your help to do so. I'm out of here. Let's go on to endgame. Okay, boys, as far as endgame goes, I have one big tip that links in with everything that I want to say. So I'm going to try and explain it the best as I can. I tried to get video evidence, but I couldn't get any, gameplay from a stacked, like, arena game or a scrim because it was just too laggy to record, man. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. So I'm going to explain it to you the best as I possibly can. Mid layers are the best for solo. When you're in, like, high ground, low ground, ultimate low ground, mid ground layers are the best. But there's usually two parts of mid ground, okay? There's mid ground that's kind of slightly above ultimate low, and then there's mid ground that's just below high ground. You want to be on the bottom mid ground layer. Hopefully that makes sense, because what happens is when you tunnel towards the front of the zone, that's where you want to be, is at the front of the zone, especially when it's moving. You want to be at the front because everyone at the back behind you is getting stomped on. It's literally like a rat race, just people tarping over people, boxes, uneven terrain, getting trapped, can't walk, all shit like that happens. So being ahead of the zone completely avoids that. But being on a mid layer that's below another mid layer that's below high ground is overpowered, because what is high ground going to do? High ground is going to beam down. Okay, now they're going to beam back at the people behind you as well, but when they're all gone and they think of you as a threat, especially if they're good players, they won't even look back. They'll just see you as a threat at the front because they know that the good players are at the front and the bad players are at the back. So they will try and shoot down at the people in front of them. Who's that going to be, though? That's going to be the layer above you. So you're chilling below them. You're using them as a shield while you can still beam back and take everyone off of ultimate low that's scuffed behind you. Again, like I was saying, it's very overpowered for the guy with the sniper and the SCAR, because sniper not so much, but the SCAR has so much ability to beam, especially if it's a long moving zone and you're at the front of it and they could be like 50 meters behind you. If you tarp fast enough, you're chilling, man. So endgame, you're settled. That's just the way to play it, bro. I don't really think I have much to say. I want you to know, though, that we do have a Discord, and I'd appreciate it if you joined, because we're trying to get to 1,000 members so we can host scrims over there. And all the links for that are down below. And if this video helped out, like I said earlier, please hit that sub button, man. I'm trying to help as many people get better at Fortnite as I possibly can. That said, please comment down below and give me some video suggestions so I can try and help you out. The videos I said at the start for, rotations, W key and all that stuff, they're linked right now. They should be on screen. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for your time.